And Battlestar quarterback Michael Vick cops a plea. Tonight, the News Edge digging through the legal lingo.
Let me tell you something. Tony's forecast has not changed in the last 3 hours, so don't think he's working too hard out here this morning, okay?
It is a very, very quiet Virginia Tech campus this morning. One of the things that's been a big topic this week has been campus security. To find a proper way to respond to this, I think, is a process that continues to evolve.
Indeed.
At the same time, there are those critics who say this was mishandled. How do you respond to that? Not so fast. The court challenge is already underway. Drivers not the only ones who would pay.
Steve's doing pretty good. Steve is the... Oh, very nice.
It's tough in the dress shoes.
What's that? You're in dress shoes?
In the dress shoes.
No, I guess I could have taken the steering wheel off before I climbed out. Would have made it easier.
If you say this is the way you wanted it to go out, does that mean this is it for Rocky?
Oh yeah, I have to. You think I'm going to that beating again?
All right, a music mogul searching for stars among a group of aspiring singers. If Michael Vick came to you today and said you were going to represent me, how do you start to build your case as a defense attorney?
Well, just mathematically, it's not possible.
All the water that's just trickling along the curb here, this time yesterday we'd be standing in it right now about ankle deep. Many of the people here have no idea what happened in other parts of the world, asking us what happened in the last 2 weeks. When you put a warning label on things, it sounds silly, like why do you have to warn people about this? Well, it's because it's happened. Concourse A is open now, so that's good news for folks who are traveling this morning.
85 miles an hour and 90. We're approaching a Category 2 hurricane.
Does she ever say, honey, you're going a little too fast right now. You just need to slow down?
Never.
A wild chase through the streets of College Park. And we've got a bird's eye view for you tonight from Sky Fox. Take a look.
If he has a tire rubbing, then that tire's going to go down soon.
Picture they're actually dragging somebody out of that vehicle right now. It's quite simply the need for speed.
What a shocker that it was. Who expected Miami to run them as much as they did today? All right, that's good.
All right.
We have a stunt weather guy for Tony that's going to fill in.
As we disappear down into the ground looking for, well, just to see what we can find.
It's a little bit of a squeeze, but it's always more exciting to come out a different way than you went in. Hey, we are not just in Seattle because it's a beautiful city. There is a game to be played. So are Seattle fans gearing up for it?
I think if they don't win this game, it's going to set the tone for what will be a very long rest of the season.
I think you're absolutely right.
You know the stands will be full. Todd, thanks so very much. Is it trouble in paradise for Tomcat? Coming up on the News Edge, the so-called happy couple sleeping in separate beds. Why? Not because they're fighting, but because Katie apparently can't stand Tom's loud snoring. So where did baby Surrey come from anyway? We're going to leave you on that note tonight. And now you have the News Edge.
I think it's something just doesn't seem right.
No?
No. Now, this is what I'm talking about.
This worked. This worked.
This is how you watch a football game.
Drivers who are trying to save on gas money now paying hefty fines, some even getting arrested. It's all part of a new crackdown. At Fox 5's Roz Plater live in Northwest with this one. Roz, what's going on? And that may not be the end of Vick's legal troubles. The state of Virginia promising now to file its own charges. More pet food fears this morning. Dog biscuits now being yanked from store shelves because they could possibly be tainted with a toxic chemical. An Iraq war veteran shot to death near Pentagon Row. Now a business upping the ante to solve this cold case. This is surveillance video of 24-year-old Paul Zeller walking into a Harris Teeter grocery store in Arlington. You know, they've always been talking about making money off of this and trying to sell it. And some people were saying, well, you could probably get $200 or $300 million out of the deal. Now, with everybody paying attention to it, they say they are not selling for less than $1.5 billion.
Wow. And
so, you know, it'll be interesting to see what happens. I know, isn't it amazing? The simple idea. You know, that's one of the first songs that I remember hearing, actually. With my little radio when I was younger. That's one of the first songs I remember.
Wow, you're so much younger than me.
Yeah, I know you were really on your groove on by this point, right?
I was at a party when the song came out.
This perhaps not so crafty crook disguised himself with tree branches while robbing the Citizens Bank in Manchester. When did he think that was a good idea?
What?
That's not pretty. Brooke, here's a tip. Get it in a cup next time. A little less mess. DC kids start class on Monday, and they are not alone. Waterford, Winchester, Old Town. Stay cool. We're coming right back. One of the things that's been a big topic this week has been campus security. Was the campus secure enough on Monday? Could something have been done to prevent this event, specifically the second attack? We'll have all that coming up later this hour, but first let's get a check on the forecast. And for that, here's Tony Perkins. Good morning, Tony. This hits you especially hard because a number of your colleagues are not only among the wounded, but among the dead.
And they told me to go down the stairwell and run, and I did.
I know it's very difficult to just rehash this as to what happened yesterday. When you heard those gunshots, was it a steady stream of shots? Was it a few and then a pause and then a few more?
It's hard to remember, but I remember hearing 40 to 50 gunshots.
When you first found out yesterday how high the death toll was, what was the initial feeling among the students? Was it a feeling of anger? Was it a feeling of sadness?
More than anything, it was just a feeling of utter sadness and shock.
Because I think this is where you have to be careful, because of course in hindsight it's very easy to see what a lot of people said were signs that could have led up to this and said, oh yeah, sure, I could see why he would have done that, or how he possibly could have done that.
But at the same time,
it's recognizing those signs ahead of time and possibly doing something about it to prevent it is the other thing. You also, when you just got back, you were down on drill field for the first time. When you talk about students' emotional involvement in this, students are still continuing to grieve, and we haven't been able to get our cameras down there too much just because of some of the limitations on campus.
Right.
But you just got back from there, and you said this was a scene that you had not seen yet here on campus. We also are on the campus in Falls Church, Virginia. That's where our own Holly Morris is this morning with more on how folks there are coping with this horrible news. And Holly, I don't think it matters if you're here in Blacksburg or if you're there in Falls Church, the reaction seems to be the same. You said that this is the worst day of your life.
It's true. Just waiting here, just waiting and hoping that we were going to get good news, and then eventually to have our worst fears realized.
Jen, I know you have a lot of work to do, so we'll let you get back to it. Very busy with the Red Cross this morning. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
And you know, these students, when we talk about them having a chance to get together as peer groups, that's exactly what's going to happen later today. Of course, at 2 o'clock is going to be the first chance for the college community to come together en masse. They're expecting to fill the Convocation Center, which holds about 10,000 people. Of course, President and Mrs. Bush are going to be there as well.
So it was good to be able to get the emotions out and be with your fellow students that day.
Joey, best wishes to you. I know it's a long healing process. I see you wearing your ribbon on your sweatshirt today, so best wishes to you and your fellow students. We're going to have more from the campus coming up in just a few minutes, but right now let's send it back to Washington. And I know, Governor, it seems like this is hard for everybody here in the Blacksburg area, across the Commonwealth of Virginia, and now around the world, actually. And I'm sure that you're starting to hear condolences coming in from all over the country and the world.
Indeed.
You've also spent a lot of time with university officials, and they called on you yesterday, the president, to put together some type of independent review, and you agreed to do that.
Right. Yeah, I talked to President Steger.
So before we let you go, Governor, talk for a minute about the student reaction to this, because we saw an overwhelming reaction from these students who really seemed to bind together.
Oh, it's just so powerful.
Hopefully through the services that we had yesterday and that candlelight vigil last night, that's a show of things moving in the right direction.
Yeah, thanks, Steve.
Governor, thanks so much for joining us this morning. We really appreciate it. We're going to have much more from the campus here in Blacksburg coming up in just a little bit, but Bob and Allison, right now we want to send it back to Washington.
It's a centuries-old crime with a 21st century twist.
It was done by inkjet printer process.
Even if it passes the pen test, take an extra second and hold the bill up to the light and look for the watermark on the right-hand side of the bill.
That's going to be the tip-off. If this was a real 100, Ben Franklin's picture would also be in the watermark. But watch the right side of the bill carefully. The watermark is actually Abe Lincoln, meaning this is really a $5 bill that's been altered. Sin City, America's playground. As the saying goes, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. That is, unless you take Vegas for more than $10 million.
The most money I won was a little over $200,000.
And that was in one weekend.
I actually had to put the last $30,000 underneath my baseball cap. And I walked through security with $30,000 under my hat.
Mike and his team are banned from just about every casino in the world.
Is that flattering to you?
I'd much prefer to be able to play.
And still make money.
And still make money.
I never thought I'd see anything that would sweep the country like methamphetamine and clandestine labs have in the last 15 years.
The problem is so bad, the Drug Enforcement Administration gave Fox 5 exclusive permission to videotape a DEA training exercise in Virginia. Not only is there no law requiring cleanup of meth labs, there's no law requiring disclosure when selling or renting the home. We revisited this Mount Rainier home where 2 years ago police found guns, chemicals, and methamphetamine. One man went to jail, but his family is still here, including several small children. Their mother told me off camera she's not worried because the kids don't go into the room where the lab was. But our expert says that doesn't matter.
If the meth cook was done in one room, especially the methamphetamine itself ends up traveling out of that room and can contaminate a good percentage of the house.